Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make your very own dentist's office for all of your city building needs. If you enjoy this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button as it really helps me and the channel out very much. Here is the amount of space required to make your dentist office, a 16 by 16 block area as represented by the white concrete grid on the ground, which you are more than welcome to make if you are planning out your city. Here are all of the materials required to make the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. Plus, we are going to be needing a lot of interior materials later on as well. But now that we have all of that stuff, we can get started. Begin by coming to the front left hand corner of your grid, if you've made it, and count backwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Start off by placing 7 bricks on top of this block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Place 9 upside down brick stairs going right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Place a brick block on the end and extend all the way down to the ground, like this. We have to extend the top 2 corners of the build backwards. We want to do this with rows of 10 bricks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we can connect those 10th blocks down to the ground using brick blocks, but we want to connect the top of this together using brick stairs like this, the same upside down stairs that we had on the front. Now when it comes to the back of the build, we do have a little bit of detail. So the detail is actually placed 1 row inwards, and we'll start on the right side here. So it extends inwards diagonally from the actual frame, and we place a brick block, 2 upside down stairs going left of it, 3 bricks, 1, 2, 3, 2 upside down stairs, 1, 2, and then a brick next to it. We want to extend the brick blocks upwards by 3. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. Notice that I didn't do that with the stairs blocks, only the actual brick blocks. Connect them together at the top and raise them up. So we want to extend it all the way up to the top of the frame. We want to use our brick stairs, and we want to, above where we have the windows, place a regular row of brick stairs extending left to right to just make the back of this build look a little bit nicer. If you want, you can place like a bit of blue concrete or white concrete in between this top 2 layers of bricks, but it doesn't make sense to me that we would have a sign back here, and that is the purpose of those 2 layers of brick, is that we would have these signs in between. But I kept the original design of the upside down and regular facing brick stairs because I thought they added a little something to the build, but you may or may not want to add the concrete is what I'm getting at. We want to fill the 2 holes in that we have at the bottom of the build using glass pane. You can use any colour, but I'm using regular old glass pane today. Come up to the top left hand corner of the back of the build, so this block right here basically. Drop down 1 and place 4 upside down brick stairs going left. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stick a brick on the end, extend it down to the bottom. We now want to add a bit of detail here as well, so I want you to add brick blocks inwards, extending inwards diagonally to both of the parts of the frame of the build here, and then I want you to place 2 upside down brick stairs between, and then I want you to raise up the brick blocks once again by 3 each, so we've already done 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, join them together at the top. Add a row on top, add a row of brick stairs above the window like this, and then again if you want to you can add something in between there if you like. It's up to you. You might prefer the exposed brick, you might prefer a little bit of concrete. It is completely up to you. We're going to add glass pane in this hole here, and this is what we have for the back. It's honestly, it's not looking too bad, is it? Not too bad at all. So when it comes to the front of the build, we want to, well, let's take the left and right sides because they're actually really easy to do. You essentially want to extend the entire left and right sides of the build forwards. You only use bricks, and we want to make it so that the front of the build is all even and level. Does that make sense? So essentially we extend the entire right side of the build forwards. It lines up with what we've already established on the front of the build, and we take the entire right side, and well, we don't even have to work it out on this right side as we already have a marker. So we essentially just have a big empty space that we just have to fill in. So nice, easy as that. So the next thing that we have to do is we should tackle this right side first because it's the easier out of the two. I would recommend extending the top of this, although it doesn't matter because we're actually going to be adding concrete to it. The top of this brick block to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, using the upside down brick stairs just like this. But again, we're actually going to be placing concrete there, so it's not even relevant. Inside and behind this, we want to have the same two brick blocks, kind of just like extending inwards from the bottom corners of the frame. We want to have upside down brick stairs connecting them together. We want to raise up the brick blocks each by 3, so 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. We want to join them together at the top. Add another row of brick above like this, and this creates a window. We can then fill this window in with glass pane just like this, and then as I keep mentioning, like this row of upside down bricks is completely pointless because we're going to have leaving a gap of 1 above the window here, or we'll leave the gap of 1, we'll place. What you could even have under here is perhaps a row of brick stairs, but that might look a little bit too boxy. We'll see in a second, but let's just place the brick stairs above the window, a row of blue concrete. We want to have another row of blue concrete on top. I'd recommend just extending that row inwards one as well. You can even fill the top of this part of the building in using bricks. I've not really planned for there to be any other material really. Like I'm not adding a skylight or anything in there, so you can just leave it as is. I'd also recommend extending the blue concrete one row forward like this, and that's how we'll just leave it for now. That's actually part of a sign. So another thing is where we placed these brick stairs here on the right, I'd recommend extending them through to the left here. And then in between this, these two this set of 2 brick stairs, I'd recommend placing 2 rows of white concrete in between. And then I would recommend placing a row of blue concrete on the left and right sides, extending forwards, and then white concrete in between the blue, just like this. And then later on, we'll be placing a sign here. So when it comes to the front of the dentists, we want to grab our light blue concrete, and again, 1 row inwards in relation to the kind of like the corner frame here. I want to place light blue concrete, gap of 2, light blue concrete, gap of 1, light blue concrete, gap of 2, light blue concrete, which can all be extended upwards. Why don't we just extend them up to the frame? So we'll extend them up and across to the frame. We'll destroy underneath the end 2 holes here and replace it with light blue, and we'll destroy underneath the first one and replace it with oak planks. So this is what we want to have, right? We want to fill the middle area in with glass pane, right of it in with glass pane. The left side, we want to place glass block at the top. This is going to be the actual doorway. I would also recommend, now that we've done this, we've got to rip up the floor, essentially, is what we must do. So I'm going to rip up the entire floor. We might even flatten out the build a little bit, so unless that's where the wall goes. So you can see that there's like an indentation right in the front and the back of the build, like there's just that little row of open space. I have a feeling that that is where the wall goes. Now that's going off memory, that's not going off the actual plans. 2 very different things. I think it goes there, but we will take a look before placing it. But there is an interior wall. We essentially have like a waiting room, and then we have the actual dentist office. So let me just have a look very quickly, ladies and gentlemen. So it would seem as though that, yeah, we have a wall that basically where we have this alcove here, it's a row of light blue concrete that extends all the way through the build just like this, from the front to the back, and that's what we want to do. So you only have to raise up the light blue concrete, I think, to, well, we'll raise it up to the roof line, right? So that would be here. We probably don't need to raise it up this high, but it's just a good idea to anyway. So there we go, we'll have this. There's going to be a doorway in between the office and the waiting area. That is a 2x2 row just here. It might even look a little bit more professional, but actually I like the blue there. I was going to change it to brick, but I kind of like the blue. So this is looking pretty good if you ask me. Is there anything else that we could... We'll actually complete the entire outside and then we'll work our way inside, okay? So, coming back to the outside, it's better just to segment things a little bit, I think. So, what sort of stuff are we going to be needing for this next part? We need loads of different things. So, smooth quartz stairs, smooth quartz slabs, grey concrete, yellow carpet, oak leaves. We'll be using a little bit of brick. Yeah, we'll use brick wall, iron bars, light white stained glass, and we'll also be needing the brick blocks back again. So first of all, there's a little wall next to the entrance. So next to the entrance here, there's a wall that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows long. It comes out to the boundary. There's a little lamp on the end of the wall that's made by a brick wall, 2 iron bars, and then we need brick slabs. So we'll grab those. We'll place a brick slab on top, right to white stained glass underneath. So that's just a little lamp. Not functional, but I think it looks nice. There is a little bit of a car park. It's just one car parking bay, essentially, on the right side here. And let's get rid of all these bricks and stuff. I'm going to grab the smooth stone, white tulips, and for the door, we can actually use iron doors, and we'll use weighted pressure plates as well. So on the right side here, we're going to dig 2 rows in front of the front right hand corner of the build. We'll place 2 smooth stone and then 3 grey concrete, 1, 2, 3 in the ground. We'll extend the grey concrete to the left by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this, we'll extend all of these rows just to the left by 4. We'll fill it in using grey concrete. The last row, we're going to have yellow carpet. So this is kind of like the edge of the bay. Unfortunately, I kind of have like this really long street that runs through the entire build, but if this was a different color, this would actually look a little bit better, and I might even change it for you a little bit later on. But essentially, the rest of the inside of the grid that we have at the front of the build has to be knocked out and replaced with smooth stone. The only exception to this is the... Whoops, my bad. Is the area just in front of this window here. We're going to fill that in using... we'll fill it in using flowers. So I'm thinking also leaving the little space just in front of the windows here as well. I might also add flowers. I didn't do that in the original, but I'm kind of feeling it today. I think it might look a little bit nicer. So like, let's say that if we had flowers just running all the way here, I think that that'd look all right. And then we can have oak leaves where the bay is. And once again, so let me just make it a different color. We'll use the cyan terracotta. So just because I don't want it to blend in, I want it to kind of like be standalone. So this will be better. Look, there we go. So there we go. That looks a little bit better, I think. So that won't be included in the materials list. You don't need cyan terracotta, but I wanted to show you the contrast anyway. So when it comes to the entrance, we need double iron doors. Ching ching, right there. We need to place smooth quartz slabs across the top of the entrance here. And we'll also need weighted pressure plates to actually open the doors like this. And we'll need weighted pressure plates again to enter and to leave just like that. Oh, I'm forgetting a really bit. On this sign here, the right side, we actually need the quartz stairs, the smooth quartz stairs. There is a tooth, so that's going to be 2 upside down smooth quartz stairs placed together in the bottom of the front of the sign, and then we're just going to place smooth quartz slabs on top. Now you can just have 1 or you can have 2 rows of slabs. It depends what you think looks better. That's essentially all it is. As we extend around the back of the build, you've got some decisions like, do you want to add flowers to the back of the build? Do you want to add leaves to the back of the build? I'd recommend adding whatever it is you like back here. You can even hang some lanterns if you want, just like in between the windows. It's actually quite nicely spread out, I don't know how to say it. Like, the build is actually quite balanced so that you can place evenly 3 lanterns in this side and 2 lanterns in this side. You can do the same thing here, so like if you wanted, you could have a couple of lanterns below this window, and you could have a few lanterns. No, it wouldn't go here, would it? We could hang it off the sign though, so we could have some lanterns here, depending upon how much light you wanted to add and such. There's only one thing that we have left to do outside, which is my least favourite thing. You guys know this if you've made any of my other tutorials, which include a sign, banners. We need looms. Well, just one loom actually. We need banners, we need red dye and white dye, and then we can make the dreaded sign. So, I'm going to chuck the loom on the ground, going to open that bad boy up, and I'm going to grab a banner. And I'm going to do this quickly, ladies and gentlemen, because the letters hopefully are quite easy to do for you, but just in case you need a little refresher course, I'm going to chuck the red dye in with the banner, and I'm going to place a row of vertical red dye on the left. Horizontal row of red dye along the top. Horizontal row of red dye along the bottom. Vertical row of red on the right side. Now, I'm actually quite happy using that as a D, but you can make it look ever so slightly more like a D by adding this. It's kind of like the diamond shape. It sort of looks like a D. Alternatively, you can use like this as well. I actually prefer just to use an O as a D and hope that people understand the concept of just a little bit of imagination, you know. It looks enough like a D that I know that it's an O, but it looks enough like a D. But anyway, we're going to get the loom back open, and I'm going to place a white banner back in there with the red dye, and we're going to make an E now. So that's a horizontal row of red through every part of the banner, so that's top, bottom, middle, and then a vertical row of red on the left side of the banner, just like that, and that's an E, nice and simple. We have to make an N, so that's a vertical row of red on the left and right sides of the banner, and then we have to do a diagonal, top left corner to bottom right corner, and that's N. We have to do a T. This is very, very easy. So, horizontal row of red across the top, vertical row of red straight through the middle, and then there we have our T. We have to make an I. This is very easy as well. So, that is actually just it's the T, but with just one step. Boom. Vertical row of red. I don't know why I did that. Just a vertical row of red just straight up the middle. Then we only have one more letter to make since we can reuse one of the letters. We have S. S is very simple. Horizontal row of red across the top, horizontal row of red across the bottom, and a diagonal row, top left corner to bottom right corner. So just like this, S. So we already have our D up there. I know it looks like an O. There's something about it, I like it better than how the other letters look, and I think that nobody's going to think it's an Oentist, so D, E, N, T, I, S, T. Perfect, just in the Y. And there we go, that's the outside of the dentist. Very, very happy with that, ladies and gentlemen. I think it looks really, really nice. So, what we're going to be doing next, we're actually going to be using the materials that we can to build up some of the inside of the dentist before we have to swap over. Now, this isn't going to be perfect. We will be needing to grab more materials later on. But for now, I want you to grab the quartz stairs and I want you to grab the smooth quartz slabs. We'll just start off with that. Across this back wall here where we have the... Oh, and also we'll grab the oak doors. So, a couple of oak doors here separating the office from the actual, like, I don't know what you call it, workroom? Whatever. We're going to, I guess, surgery? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4 upside down quartz stairs extending from the side of this window, and then we're going to place a smooth quartz slab on the end. We're actually going to leave a gap of 2, and then we're going to do the same thing using this window. So 1, 2, 3, 4 with a quartz slab on the end, or an actual quartz block made up of 2 slabs actually. We have to have a little seating area as well. So just next to the door, to the left as we kind of like walk in, we're going to have a gap of 1, stair, gap of 1, stair, like this. And then we're going to build up a little table just so that we can like lay magazines and stuff on it. And that's just going to be made up of that's just going to be made up of smooth quartz. Like, you can use anything, but I'm trying to keep this like looking nice and clean and sterile because it is meant to be that way. It is like a dentist. So honestly, we can't really do too much more with the materials that we have, but what we can do is we can add a ceiling. So the ceiling is going to be directly above the windows, and it's going to be made out of bricks. The thing about this area is it is actually open to a skylight, so it depends whether you want to have one. It's actually quite bright in here because we're going to be using some end rods and stuff, but you might feel that you want to add a skylight. So the way that I would add it is I would add one above where the reception area is, like where this desk is, and I'd have it extend front to back, kind of like this, maybe leaving a block, a row on the front and back here, and also similarly where we have kind of like the entrance area, just to keep things balanced, if that makes sense. So maybe like a row knocked out here, and then if you want, you can fill that in with glass. And if we come up above this, then we will have to do so. If we do this method of having a couple of skylights, then we will have to fill in around this. So I don't know, we don't need this row of blue here. We could, what we can simply do is just kind of add like a frame of bricks around this. Not that you're going to often come to the top of your building, but depending upon where you place this, you might be able to see it. So you don't want the top of the roof to look weird. We need to have this be balanced. So maybe if we add a row of bricks on the front and back like this. Ah, there we go, that's perfect. So that's actually interesting looking as well. So we've added bricks all the way around the windows, and then we have an additional row of bricks on the front and the back, and that's looking pretty good. So I like that. Perfect. So this is what the inside of the office looks like. It feels nice and airy in here. Feels very clean. I like it. As we come inside the actual, again, I'm not quite sure what to call this exactly. But we need to have a set of units. So this is made out of smooth quartz blocks as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. We'll have a cauldron here, and then we'll have another unit here. So we just want to have a set of blocks. I'm going to chuck a lantern just here in the corner. And then we do have a chair. So the chair, the dreaded dentist chair, is made out of, basically, we're going to have, let me see, we're going to have a smooth quartz stair here, kind of like in the middle of the room, just one row around. And then we're going to have a smooth quartz slab behind the top of it, brick behind that, and then a set of stairs behind that. And this is going to be the chair, but we're also going to be needing end rods. When it comes to the ceiling, I'm thinking about using something else entirely. So, ladies and gentlemen, I know that seems a little bit weird that we've only managed to do like this level of detail, but now we're going to have to grab a whole set of new materials. So I'm actually going to grab them, and then I'm going to come back and I'll show you what materials we are going to be using, and then we can apply the final levels of detail to the dentists. So here are all of the materials that we need to use to fill in the remainder of our building, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure that you have access to all of these. Pause the video if you have to, and once you do have them all, then we can continue. So I'm going to start off by grabbing armor stands, scaffolding, lanterns, bookshelves, emeralds, black concrete, paintings, item frames, and books. So the reason for the armor stand is to place it just right here next to the entrance where we have these two seats. It's just so that you can hang your hat, coat, whatever. Scaffolding next to these seats, in between them, with a lantern on top. The bookshelves are exactly for that. It's for magazines and stuff, so you can entertain yourself. So 3 rows of 3 next to the seating area. We're going to have a television. The television is hanging from the ceiling using an end rod next to this window. 2 black concretes underneath, so like 1 underneath and then 1 to the right, and then we just want to place something on these. So if you want the TV on, I want to have that particular picture for mine. On this little coffee table here, I'd recommend a couple of item frames with some books in them, and they can have came from the bookshelf. Along the back here, I find that my dentist has stuff to sell. Like, they have toothbrushes and stuff, and if you use your imagination, end rods aren't so far from toothbrushes. They just have the little head missing. So I've used them as exactly that. So I'm going to get rid of all of this stuff, and I'm going to grab the white carpet, red carpet, flower pots, cornflowers, quartz stairs, weighted pressure plates, oak wood stairs, oak trapdoors, and sea pickles. Now, in my mind, sticking to the dentist sell stuff thing, is sea pickles somewhat... Oh, no, I can't place them on here. Of course I can't. We might have to... Okay, we'll give these sea pickles a rest for a second, but on this counter, cash register, which is going to be a smooth quartz stairs, next to it, weighted pressure plate. Behind the counter somewhere, a seat, so that's going to be an oak wood stair with oak trapdoors left and right of it. On the counter as well, I'd recommend adding a couple of flower pots, and I'm using cornflowers, but I'd recommend any blue flower that you want to use. White carpet in front of the counter here just looks a little bit nicer. Maybe a red carpet here. Oh, we could even like shuffle around the magazines as well. Red carpet here, it kind of looks like a book or something of some sort. And then when it comes to like this counter at the back, well, obviously I can't place the sea pickles on stairs in this particular version of Minecraft, unfortunately. But let's say that this was indeed like actual solid blocks. In my mind, sea pickles, yeah, as I mentioned, why can't they be placed next to each other? What is wrong with this version of Minecraft, honestly? So maybe we just have to have... I don't even know what's going on. This is why I shouldn't design things on Java, everybody. Java just seems to run much smoother than Bedrock. So next to this, I'm going to place a flower pot, because that could be anything. I mean, that could be a toothbrush holder, whatever. But next to this, I'm going to place 3 sea pickles, which, if placed after the flower pot, will not destroy themselves. So the reason for this is, in my mind, I thought that they sort of maybe looked like mouthwash bottles. Like, mouthwash is sort of like a greeny blue. They're kind of like tubey shaped. So that's my thinking with these sea pickles anyway. So they are so annoying in this photo. They really are. If you want to, you could even place some item frames. You could use perhaps some paintings or whatever, and we can like plaster up above here. We can have some item... Sea pickles suck so badly. So maybe we can place like... Are you kidding me? Okay, maybe some here, and maybe like we could have like a couple of parts. Maybe just like advertising stuff. I don't know. You could have stuff there. You couldn't. It's up to you. We can even have a couple of lanterns hanging like at the front here, just to provide a little bit more light. I'm quite happy with all of this. I think that looks pretty cool. If you feel as though that we're lacking like a picture or something just above here, then you might... That's too big. Maybe we could add like a little picture here just above the seats, you know, and then it feels kind of like homey and cozy, and I quite like that. I think that looks pretty cool. So now that we've done that, if we just head into the back of the dentist area here, next to this lantern, we can have perhaps a couple of flower pots. We can have a set of units above, like a set of cupboards, like above all of this. So maybe some like light grey shulker boxes just above this. We want to have a couple of, we want to have like a cauldron here with a tripwire hook. And that's basically just, I mean, you just have sinks in Denist Office for whatever reason. We're going to have one here as well at the end of the chair with a tripwire hook above it. That's that thing that you know, sometimes like when you go to the dentist, like if you have like a cleaning done or something, they give you something to drink and then like spit out. Well, that's what that's for, essentially. We want to have an end rod above the back of the seat here as well. That's just for a little bit of support. There's that big hanging light thing that hangs like above the seat. So that's going to be made out of diorite, smooth quartz slab, end rods, and if you can do it in this version, an item frame and some white stained glass pane. So right at the end of the seat here next to the end rod, we're going to have the wall with 2 end rods on top, smooth quartz slabs above, extend to the right, and then underneath this, item frame, and then a white stained glass pane. You can do that. So that's that light thing that they use to look into your mouth. We want to decorate these cupboards a little bit. So like we'll have, say, like a stone pressure plate on a couple of the cupboards with a couple of buttons. We can have like the sea pickles again, that could be mouthwash or something similar. We could even have like a couple of item frames with some like books in them, you know, just to keep this looking a little bit busy. And then you can leave the ceiling like this if you want, but my original idea, I think I actually ran out of room, or perhaps I forgot the material, was to use diorite. Not that I can find it right now. Here we go. So like polished diorite or something for the ceiling to make it feel a little bit cleaner. I would make the floor white as well, but I feel as though then it's almost a little bit too crazy. But I think that it looks relatively clean like this. That's how I imagine a dentist office is, rather clean. We could even change the floor to the diorite as well. Shall we see if that actually looks good? It might or it might not. It might look a little bit silly. I don't know. You know what? I'll do it anyway, even though I'm not sure about it. I think that we should fill the sinks up as well with water, but I'm not 100% on these, but I think that looks okay. It's a little bit more interesting than your average, like, white concrete or quartz or what have you. What else do we want to do in here? What else did I just think of? So, we want to fill up these sinks, so we can use water for that. And quite honestly, once we've done this, I'm actually quite happy with it. I think that does look better, actually, being a different color. It's a nice separation between the like the workspace and the secretary area. I quite like that a lot. So that's actually the build completely, ladies and gentlemen. We've actually done it. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what your dentist office should look like once it has been 100% fully completed. I really hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me and the channel out very much. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing and clicking that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. If you want to make anything else by me, please check out the card system and the description below. That will give you a whole playlist of city builds. So if this perhaps is your first build, or if you're unaware, I've made many city builds. You can make a pretty decent city out of that playlist if you like, and it is now going to start being worked on again. So we are going to be getting more and more city builds as we progress. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.